All right, well, we'll see if anyone comes tonight. We are just going to stretch. Hi, Kelly. Do you have any requests? All right. I'm gonna grab a strap and I have block blankets if you like to have those handy. We're just gonna really focus on making tonight just a really good stretch. So I think we'll start laying on our backs. And have your strap handy on your back. And go ahead and just lay down with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And to start with, bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. And just start feeling your breath. I'm going to start today's practice with a story. And if you've watched the Unselfish Self-Care videos, or if you've listened to my podcast, anyway, this is a story I would tell often, but I just find it so useful for me. It's about the trees and the biodome, or biosphere, too, that in the late 80s, early 90s, there were a group of scientists that built biosphere in Arizona, intending it to be this completely contained ecosystem that had a wetland and it had a place to grow food, it had a desert, it had every kind of biome. And the scientists were going to live in there for a year and just grow all their own food. Everything was going to be completely self-sustaining. And they had animals, and they started a little farm and growing grain and planted trees so that they would have fruit. They planted some fruit trees, and what would happen is, they had perfectly calibrated soil, they had the right amount of water, they had, it was a big greenhouse, basically. They had a lot of sun, and the trees would sprout, they would grow super tall really fast, and then they'd get to a certain height and they would just fall over. And it took them a long time to figure out why the trees couldn't stay standing. They would grow to a certain height, almost ready even to have some blossoms, and then they would just fall over. They looked at the soil. Were they not getting the right nutrients? Were they getting too much water? Were they not getting enough water? And the thing that they realized the trees weren't getting was wind. They were not getting any resistance to create the stress wood, and to strengthen the cell walls. That trees need resistance in order to find some strength to grow. And I like to tell this story in the context of needs, that we all have needs. And when our needs are not met, we fall apart or we fall over. And these needs are fundamental. But often it may take some investigation to figure out what that is. And sometimes it may not be the thing that we expect. It takes investigation, curiosity, some trial and error, and some intuitive knowing to figure out what those things are. And it's not always being comfortable. The thing we need is not always just to have the perfect amount of sunlight and water and nutrients, but sometimes it's the stress that we need. We need a little bit of resistance so that we can grow some strength. And so as we practice tonight, let yourself just really settle. You think and ask, what is it that you need? And when you meet resistance, let yourself just embrace it. Let yourself experience it. And be a good discerner. You start to discern within your own body and experience the stress that is useful, that is building, that is what you need. Right? And also the balance of renewal. Just take a couple more breaths here, feeling your body breathe into your hands. And go ahead and release your hands. Just hug your right knee into your chest. Let your left leg go long. Compress that lower right belly. And then just use your left hand to steer your right leg over to your left. Let yourself find a big open twist. Work on keeping that right shoulder toward the floor. And then swim your right hand down by your right hip. And then just swim it up alongside your ear. I'm just making a big half circle here. Let the front of your chest open. And try to keep the back of your hand on the floor. That's not friendly for your shoulder and your pec muscle, then you can let it flow. But just find a balance of grounding that right shoulder and drawing your right knee to the left. So your knee may not touch the floor, mine doesn't. Just got a big adjustment through my spine. Let's do one more big snow angel shape here. And then release that. Just come back onto your back, hugging that right knee into your chest. And then lift your straight left leg straight up toward the ceiling. And then lower it down and just let it hover. Just engaging through those hip flexor muscles, and then let it lengthen as you pull that right leg in. And next time you get that left leg straight up, just kind of point and flex your foot a couple of times. You can find circles of your ankle. One way and the other. And then reach your right leg straight up. And just let your hands stay interlaced. Push your palms away and then reach those arms overhead. See if you can settle your low ribs down into the floor, and then soften your knees and your elbows. Take a breath in, push your palms away from you and reach your feet up to the ceiling. And then soften knees and elbows, and just do that a few times with your breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll just hug the left knee in, lengthen your right leg on the floor, and really compress that left low belly. And breathe into that leg. And take one more breath there. And then take your right hand over and bring your left knee to your right. Left arm can start by your hip and then swing it up alongside your ear. Just find a comfortable place for that leg. It can be on your right leg, your foot on the floor. Gaze just stay straight up at the ceiling and find that snow angel motion with your left arm. Balance between bringing your knee toward the floor but keeping that left shoulder grounded. See if you can keep the back of your left hand on the floor. Let's just do 2 more swims of that arm up and down. Up and back down, and then just roll back onto your back. Hug that left knee into your chest again. And then take your right leg straight up toward the ceiling, and then let it come down to hover. And straight up toward the ceiling, and then let it come down to hover. Engaging through that hip flexor, and then letting it lengthen. Next time your leg comes up, just hold it there. And then you can point and flex a couple of times. Find some circles of your ankle. And then release that left leg, both legs straight up. You can switch the interlace of your fingers, push your palms away, and then reach your hands overhead. Try to keep your low ribs down. Maybe your hands touch the floor, they don't have to. And then soften your knees and elbows. And then with a breath in, just really lengthen, straighten knees and elbows. And just move with your breath, just softening through those joints and then really energetically pushing arms and legs as straight as they can go. And then release that effort. Release your arms by your side, bend both knees, feet to the floor. And then wiggle your shoulder blades together, and we'll just take a couple of rounds of dynamic bridge, and then we'll hold. So inhale to lift your hips. You can swim your arms overhead. And exhale to lower. And just move with your breath, paying attention to the parts of your spine. Next time you come down, just keep your hands down, lift your hips, and you can just let yourself hold here. Move your shoulder blades toward each other. Maybe hold on to edges of your mat that feels available. You can interlace fingers underneath you. And then those front low ribs, feel like you're softening them down. And then lengthen your tailbone the same direction as your knees, like you're pointing your tailbone toward your knees. And then find some energetic engagement through the backs of your legs, like you're dragging your heels toward your shoulders. Push in the back of your head and find some space underneath your neck and through your throat. Draw your shoulder blades together. Push your triceps into the floor. One more round of breath there. And go ahead and release your bum to the floor. Then we're going to take our right arm, bend your elbow, so internally rotate your shoulder and thread your right hand underneath you, underneath your lower back, palm face down, and it can just be right under your lower back. You might bend your elbow a little more, bring your hand toward your shoulder blade or between your shoulder blades. You just find a place that's friendly for your shoulder. And then as you settle in, it might even feel good to drop your knees to the right. Stretching through your shoulder. And just notice when you come up against sensation, practice that discernment. Is it something that's facilitating change and growth? Is it just too much to handle? It's totally your determination, right? And this is your body. When we move really thoughtfully and slowly, the likelihood of us injuring ourselves is very slim. But right, you're the only one that can feel the sensations that you feel. And as you can expand the vocabulary of how you describe sensation, you can notice the difference between discomfort and pain. So you can really start to navigate that. Take one more round of breath here. See if you can relax through your shoulder and your neck and your throat. And then knees back to center. Thread that arm out from underneath you. If you need to shake it out a little bit, whatever you need, and we'll just switch sides. So thread your left arm underneath you, palm face down. You'll bend that elbow, just bring palm underneath you. Maybe bend your elbow a little more, bring your hand toward your shoulder blade or between your shoulder blades. And just take a breath to settle in. And then maybe you could rock your knees over to the left. Really listening to what would feel supportive for your shoulder. Breathing into those tissues and just letting yourself have some time here to let everything soften and lengthen. And just rock yourself back up. Go that left arm out from underneath you. And then roll onto your right side. You can use your upper arm as a pillow. And we're just going to bend our knees in a 90-90. So this left leg will kind of be hovering. Right knee goes straight out in front of you. And then just lift this left leg up. We're going to swing it forward. And then try to plant your foot outside your right knee. And you might need to use your hands to get it there. And then energetically push that knee away from you. And then release that effort. You can find a little internal rotation of that leg and bring it back behind you. Engage through your glute and reach back. And just find this movement here. Just articulating through that hip joint. So when you get that foot down, see if you can bring your shin perpendicular to the floor as best you can. And then float it back and really engage through your glute. Let's do that one more time. Reach back. And then come forward. Bring that foot down. And grab onto your ankle and really energetically push that knee toward the foot of your mat. And then you can keep this cross, left ankle over right knee, and rock onto your back. So now we're in a figure four. Adjust yourself as you need to. Flex through that left foot. And then you can lift your right leg up off the floor, maybe interlace fingers behind your back. And breathe here into the sensation in your hip. You can find some resistance of your left forearm into your left thigh. At the same time, keep your ankles flexed. Got some action happening through that hip. And then release your right foot to the floor. Find your strap if you need it. Lengthen your left leg up toward the ceiling. You can loop your strap around the ball of that left foot. Lengthen up. And then reach your arms up as far as you can toward your foot. So with straight arms, so you're not bending through your elbows. And then just let your upper arm bones settle into your shoulder sockets. Find the natural curves of your spine. Back of your head, back of your heart, back of your pelvis around the floor. There's just a natural curve under your lower back. And if you can maintain that, you can lengthen right leg on the floor. If that pushes your lower back down and kind of lifts your bum up, then just keep that right knee bent. Just really maintain that integrity of your spine. Settle your shoulders down into your sockets. Just breathe. It might feel good to kind of rotate that femur bone in your hip socket so you can kind of turn your toes in and then turn your toes out. But think of this happening not from your ankle, but from your hip joint. And then pause. Reach out through that right heel, whether it's on the floor or long. Just reach out, find some energy there. And then maybe draw that left leg a little closer to you. And then we'll switch both straps into your left hand. Turn those left toes slightly to the left. I like to put my right hand on my right hip just to remind it to stay down. And then you can open this left leg out to the left. If you're feeling this in your inner knee, bend your knee a little bit or back out. Just stretch. And then you can find those little movements right from your hip socket with your leg out to the side. So kind of pointing your toes toward the floor and then rotating them up toward the ceiling. It'll probably be, it's not going to move a full 90 degrees. I mean, maybe yours does, but just a little bit. And think about this happening from the hip socket. And then come back up to center. Lift your head and chest. You can bring your knee towards your nose. Maybe hold on to that leg with both hands. Maybe drop your strap and hold on a little higher. You can let your spine round this time. And then release. And just let yourself lay down and kind of feel the difference from one side to the other. Notice what leg feels longer. Notice which one feels more awake and alive. And then we'll roll onto our left side. So your strap handy, and we'll do all of that same stuff on the other side. So just use your upper arm as a pillow. If you want a block or blanket as a pillow, if you'd rather have that, that's fine. So we've got 90-90 legs, right, but your right leg's gonna kind of float. You can have your foot down for a second, but just gonna float that right foot up and then engage through your glute, kind of kick your foot back. And then bring your knee forward and plant your foot outside your left knee. And try to bring that foot perpendicular to the floor. If you need to use your hand to get it there, totally fine. And then rotate. So just go back and forth here. Engage through that back glute as you reach back. And point your knee up toward the ceiling to bring that foot down. Come back forward, plant your foot down and pause here. You might hold on to your ankle this time. Energetically pushing that right knee toward the foot of your mat. And then from here, you're gonna rock onto your back. Keep your legs just as they are, set up for your figure four. And then you can interlace fingers behind your leg. Flexing through that foot. You can resist your right thigh with your right elbow. Stay active through both of your feet. If you want to find a little movement, rocking, that's totally fine. Let's take one more round of breath there. And then left foot to the floor. Find your strap. Loop your strap around the ball of that right foot. And then lengthen. Find your straight arms. So reach up and then let your arms hang heavy in your shoulder sockets. Find space underneath your lower back. The back of your head, your rib cage, the back of your pelvis are on the floor. Got a little space under your lower back and under your neck. You can maintain those. You can lengthen your left leg. And then be active through that left leg. Reach out through that left heel. Low ribs are settled into the mat underneath you. And then you can find those little, just kind of think of it like cleaning out, reaming out your hip socket, just turning your toes to the right and to the left. It's not happening from your ankle, it's happening right in your hip joint. Just rocking in there from side to side. And then we'll go ahead, bring both of your hands, bring straps into your right hand, left hand on your hip. Open that right leg out to the right. And then you can find those same little motions here. You're rotating your toes toward the floor and then toward the ceiling. But this is happening from your hip joint, not your ankle. And then bring that strap back up. Hold on to the back of your leg. Maybe lose your strap. Lift your head and chest. Bring your knee toward your nose. And you can straighten and lengthen as much as you can here. Engaging through your core and lifting. And then release. Just gonna roll over onto our bellies from here. And do another shoulder stretch. And so come up on your forearms, just so you're ready. And then we'll bring your right arm into a cactus shape on the floor. So your shoulder and elbow are in line with each other. I tend to see this a lot. So really think about making sure that your elbow is the same height as your shoulder, maybe even let it be a little bit higher than you think. And then right cheek to the floor. So push down into that right hand. And before you do anything, just let your right shoulder kind of drop toward the floor. And then you can push into your left hand. Just bend your left elbow, bring your hand by alongside your chest, and rock over onto your right hip. And you maybe stay here with that left foot on the floor. Maybe you stack your left leg on top of your right leg, or maybe you bend that left knee and let it come to the floor behind you. Energetically push your right hand into the floor. Let your right shoulder soften toward the floor. And unwind. And set yourself up for the same thing on the other side. So just find that cactus shape with your left arm, elbows in line with your shoulder, left cheek to the floor. Just bring your right hand alongside your chest. Spread through your left fingers and push that palm into the floor, and then you can rock. Maybe just stack your legs. Maybe your right leg stays in front. Maybe it's not even very much. Just let that left shoulder kind of settle toward the floor. Maybe your right foot comes behind you. And you settle. Let that left shoulder soften. Rock back onto your belly. Reach your arms forward and just come into a sphinx. So elbows underneath your shoulders. And then let your shoulders kind of sink up towards your ears and then push them away. Just do that a couple of times. Push the floor away with your elbows. Drop your chin. And then really round your upper spine. Lift your belly off the floor. Push through your legs. Push the tops of your feet down. And then let your belly come down. Feel like you're dragging your elbows back without moving them anywhere. And reach your heart forward. And just move there. So it's kind of cat and cow movement. Just through your upper spine. And then just lengthen your left arm in front of you. You're going to take your right arm and thread it underneath your left armpit and then cross your left elbow in front of your right elbow. And just let yourself snuggle down so you can see. So my arms are just kind of crossed here. And then you can fold your chin. Your hands can just face the way that feels most friendly and useful. And breathe Stretching through those deltoids, your muscles in the tops of your shoulders, the outer shoulder. And then wiggle yourself out. Come back into your Sphinx. And then just lift that right elbow. Slide your left arm underneath and just cross the other way. Just reaching arms from side to side, and then you can let your chin settle. Let yourself just be in your body, be with your breath. Let yourself find some space. It's intense sensation. It's coming up against resistance that actually facilitates growth and expands your capacity. We need to be discerners on what is too much. Make your way to your hands and knees, and we'll just come to a puppy pose. So hips stacked over your knees, reach your arms forward, drop your heart to the floor, maybe chin or forehead. Stretching through the fronts of your armpits and your shoulders. And then bring forearms to the floor. You can keep your hands flat on the floor, or you can bring your hands into a prayer or clasp them. We're going to come into dolphin. So just tuck your toes and lift your hips up. And then lengthen your heart toward your thighs. And find some containment of your low ribs. And shorten the space from your lowest ribs to your belly. And then knees to the floor. Keep your toes tucked. And go ahead and sit back. And tuck your toes, just stretch the bottoms of your feet. And then find some circles in your neck. Do lots of shoulders. One more breath here. Rock forward. Find some circles of your ankles. And then untuck your toes and kneel back. And stay there. Lean back. Maybe lift your knees. Stretch the tops of your feet a little more. And you can drop your knees. Draw your shoulder blades toward each other. Lift your hips and find a little back bend. And drop your hips. Walk your hands forward and find downward facing dog. Now let this really just be for the stretch. Go long through your arms, open through your shoulders, and focus on the length through your back of your legs. Right, pedal out your feet. And then just step your feet a little closer to each other. Just lift your right leg up and back. And really drop that left heel toward the floor. You can bend your right knee, open your hip. I should tuck my shirt in, huh? Just open there. And then unwind. Bring your knee towards your nose. Step your foot between your hands and come on up for warrior two. Just turn around. And just open. Lengthen through that right leg. Bring your right outer hip back. And find your triangle. Maybe hand on your ankle, hand on your shin. Really think of length through your spine. Maybe hand to the floor. And then let yourself bring your arm alongside your ear. Just find a little bit of a C curve in your spine. Even think about kind of reaching those left fingertips toward your right toes. It's not how we usually do triangle pose, but just enjoy the side stretch. And then bend into your elbow, your knee, sorry, and find your side angle pose. So maybe it's forearm to your thigh. Maybe that hand can stay to the floor. You can reach, left arm long. And then just find a half bind. Bend that left elbow, bring your left hand behind your back. You can pause there. Or you can bring your hand in front and resist your upper arm into your knee and find a little more opening through your chest there. Or you can thread that right arm under and find your bind. And then if it seems like a good idea, you can bring that right leg towards straight and just find your bound triangle pose or half bound triangle pose. Enjoying the stretch through your hamstring. Bend into your knee if you're straight. Unwind your hands and then walk your hands to your left. Just find a wide-legged forward fold. Feet parallel with the short edges of your mat. Lengthen through your spine and then let yourself fold here. And go ahead, come up on your hands. Bend into your knees, exhale your hands to your hips, and then inhale yourself all the way to standing. Turn your left toes to the left, bend into that left knee. Find your warrior two on this side. And then just straighten that left leg, draw that left outer hip back. Find your triangle pose here. Maybe hand on your shin, hand to your ankle. Maybe fingers to the floor. Just find a place where you feel freedom in your hip, through your spine, and through the back of that left leg. Right, investigate your needs and find the right amount of resistance that will help expand your capacity. It doesn't feel unfriendly. And then bend into your left knee. Find your side angle pose. Maybe it's forearm to thigh. And then you can find that half bind with your right arm. So you bring that left arm in front. Snuggle it down. Maybe find your full bind here. Maybe push into that left foot, straighten through that left leg. We're just going for a stretch. Just find what feels really supportive and interesting. Your knees straight, bend into it. If you got the bind, release. Come back to your standing forward fold. Lengthen through your spine. Let yourself bow. Maybe bring your hands back in line with your feet. Maybe peace fingers around your big toes and let your elbows come out toward the sides. And come back halfway up. Toe heel your feet closer together. We're just going to come to sit. Just make your way down to a seat. And if you know that it helps your spine and your pelvis to sit on a folded blanket, then sit on a folded blanket. Lengthen your right leg, your left foot to that right inner thigh, and set yourself up for a Janu Shirshasana. So I'm kind of, instead of having my right leg straight forward, I've put it out to the side, about halfway, so 45 degrees. And then rotate your heart and let yourself just bow over that right leg. Maybe reach your left hand to that outer right foot or outside that right leg. A twist, a side bend, a hamstring lengthener. Just breathe. Inhale yourself up. And then just plant your left hand, kind of kitty corner behind you, behind your left hip. You're gonna rock onto your left shin and just swing your right arm up. Just find a really expansive flash dance, whatever you wanna call this. And we'll cycle through this in a side bend. So bring your hips down, right hand inside that right leg, left arm over toward your foot. And then come on up, plant that hand, rock onto that left shin, reach up. Just do this at your own pace. I think it's super fun. Feels good. Let's say this is our last one. Come into your side bend this time. So right hand or forearm down inside of that right leg, left arm alongside your ear, and rotate those right ribs up toward the ceiling. Maybe you reach that foot, but there's a little bit of resistance of this right arm into your right leg to let your heart open. And then go ahead and come on up. And we'll just switch sides. Lengthen that left leg and we'll do it a little more open than I usually cue it. And then rotate your heart toward that left heel. You can reach your left knee, reach for that left foot and let yourself fold. And really think of supporting your lower back with your lower belly. And you've got an even curve through your spine. So no hinge points in your spine. The hinge happens from your hip crease. And then your spine can just drape forward, but with stability and strength and support from your core. Just enjoy your breath there. And then go ahead and come on up. Swing that right hand behind you, just plant it kitty corner from your hip. Rock onto that right shin and reach your left arm back. And then swim it down. Left hand inside, right knee, and find your side bend. Then just move at your own pace. Just cycling through these. Opening through your heart. And a lot of work on your shoulders. You should be able to feel pretty stable and open there. Let's call this the last one. And come on down, we'll hold our side bend. So hand or forearm inside that left leg, or reach your right arm alongside your ear. Rotate those left ribs up. Maybe reach for your foot. And find some resistance with this this left arm into your left leg to leverage your twist. And then bring yourself all the way up. And we'll bring ourselves into fire log pose. So let's start with left shin on bottom, right on top. And you can find some support here. Just let your foot kind of be wider than your knee. Your ankle is over your knee. And you don't have to make your right knee come down to your left ankle if it doesn't want to. You just rock around and find what works in your body. And then energetically use your strength to kind of push that down. And then I'm going to take my hand and push into my knee, and then push my knee back into my hand. So wherever this right knee is, wherever it is, just push. Right knee into right hand into right knee. And then just leave your hand exactly where it is. Energetically bring your knee closer to your ankle with your hip muscles and your leg. And you've got a new set point. Just bring your hand down and then push your hand into your knee or knee into your hand. And then keep your hand exactly where it is. Just energetically use your leg to draw that knee closer to your ankle. And then one last time, find that new set point. Push your hand into your knee into your hand. And then release. Bring your right hand to the floor next to you. And just let your left arm come alongside your ear and find a side bend. Root down through that left hip as you side bend here. And then we'll just cartwheel that left arm forward and rock into a forward fold. Any amount. Let yourself fold over that right shin. And take one more full round of breath here. And then come on up. Lean back. We'll just switch sides. So right shin's on the bottom, left shin is on top. Your ankle's right over your knees, so your foot's kind of hanging up. And you just find what works for you. And if you want to put a block or a pillow or something here, that's totally helpful. Then you get a little bit of feedback. Okay, and then we'll find your spine tall. Left hand just right above that left knee. And then with all your might, push your hand into your knee into your hands. And then release that effort and energetically just keep your hand exactly where it was, but use your muscle strength to draw your knee down toward your ankle. And then you've got that new set point. Bring your hand to your knee. And then push. Knee into hand, hand into knee. Keep your hand exactly where it is. And energetically just pull that knee towards your foot. Bring your hand to that new set point and push. Knee into hand, hand into knee. And keep your hand exactly where it is. See if you can get some space. Pull that knee away from your hand towards your ankle. And then release your hand. Bring your left hand to the floor. Next to you, right arm over your ear. Root down through that right hip. Your side bend here. And then just swim that right arm forward. You can walk yourself forward into a forward fold. And stay active through your feet. Just keep flexed through your feet. Let's take one more round of breath here. And then walk your hands in. So uncross your legs. Make your way onto your back. And when you get there, hug your knees into your chest. You can rock from side to side. Use your hands to steer your knees in circles. Do one more hip stretch here on our backs. So release your hands, just cross your right leg all the way over your left. So your knees are just right on top of each other. And you can hug your crossed knees into your chest. You could reach out for your ankles or outer feet. Push your sacrum toward the floor. So you hug those crossed knees in. Breathe into that right outer hip. Enjoy the support of the floor underneath you. And then switch the cross of your legs. Just really wrap that left leg around your right. Hug, knees into chest. Maybe reach for ankles, outer feet. Flex through your feet. Anchor through your sacrum. Ribs supported in the floor. One more round of breath here. Uncross your legs. Find a happy baby pose. Knees outside of your rib cage. Just open your knees to 90 degrees. Grab onto your outer feet. Push your feet into your hands, hands into your feet. Root your sacrum toward the floor. Drop your shoulders toward the floor. And then go ahead and release. Set yourself up for your final rest. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Just rub your hands so your palms get warm. And then bring those warm palms onto your eyes. And just close out all the light. Really let yourself settle. It's an opportunity just to ask and investigate, what is it that I need now? And we're working our way through all these energetic layers of our bodies. We started last month really talking about the Anamaya Kosha, our food body, our physical body, our joints and muscles, and all of the tissues that make us up, the physical form of us. This month we've been talking about the prana, Maya Kosha, that energy body, that life force that animates you. What maintains your energy? How do you invite that in? Support the cycles and the waves. What is it that you need? Use your fingers to massage maybe your forehead, temples, sides of your jaw, your ears, maybe the sides of your throat, the back of your neck. Maybe nurture yourself into your final relaxation, and then Let go of any effort with your arms, palms face up. Let yourself rest here. You need both the calm and the wind. The times of effort and the times of stillness. Let yourself really just be still and marinate. Notice all the places that are connected with the floor underneath you, and just let those places settle and spread. Let your eyes and your jaw and your tongue and your throat all relax. And let your arms reflect that relaxation in your face. Let your rib cage and belly reflect that relaxation even a little more. Relax your eyes and your jaw and your throat. Let your legs reflect that relaxation. Just bring your awareness to your whole body. Just feel how supported and relaxed you are. Feel the aliveness just coursing through your body. That's your prana, that life force energy that animates you. A sense of tingling and aliveness. Feel free to stay here for much longer if you have time. If you need to keep this to the hour, start to wiggle fingers and toes. Bring your hands to your face again and give yourself a little massage in your forehead or temples and both knees. Roll yourself to one side, push your weight up. Thank you so much for practicing with me tonight. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. Good night.